coming and listen to what we have to present. Thank you, World Football Summit, for having us. So we're here to present you our new venture. My name is Saha. I'm an ex-football player. Played in a few clubs, Man United, and play for France. And I'm with Kate.
Hi, so I'm Kate Hamer. So I've worked at various different brands, probably not as glamorous as the clubs that Louis played for, but Disney, Unilever, L'Oreal, brands like that. So we'll give you a little intro to AxisStars with my seamless change. Hang on.
The AxisStars platform is the ultimate star assistant, helping you to make the best personal and professional decisions. Stars receive thousands of approaches from all kinds of people. Set your preferences in the AxisStars platform and take business into your own hands. AxisStars, the mobile app which puts the star back in control. Find a trusted advisor, browse targeted sponsorship opportunities, or purchase diverse products, from bespoke suits to dream holidays, from partners who you can rely on. Check how the community rates each member and opportunity before you make a decision. As you grow your network and make trusted contacts through AxisStars, you will be in a strong position to learn and develop your career for the long term. There's strength in numbers. Stars have a big voice and partners can reach their target audience in an authentic and relevant way. The ultimate win-win platform.
Can't wait to share it with everyone in Australia.
You guys know I'm a huge fan of AxisStars.
J'ai pas le temps, j'attends le lancement d'AxisStars.
Message de soutien à AxisStars.
Je soutiens AxisStars.
Yeah, that's the product that is available. We have created this on a win-win platform basis where we invite all type of professional athletes, artists, and all of those job description down here to a very exclusive and secure environment. So the star situation is very complex. So you start very young, you don't have any understanding, knowledge, all those like hit you very, very suddenly. You know, you have like maybe, if you're lucky, a big contract, so the fame comes, the money comes, and all the attraction of like a lot of like partners or people who can propose you a lot of things, and without the support. So it's really, really difficult to understand at young age how to deal with this. Your parents never experienced that if you're not a Zidane and his son, but it really happens that you have all the understanding. So in a very insecure world, you are like a commodity. You play really well, you're going to be sold to a next club. It happens to have like a lot of agents proposing you to move on. If you're not playing well, he's pretty much the same. So it's very insecure. We have horrible stats. I mean, like, if you heard that 50% of football players or athletes go bankrupt within 5 years of their career, it's, I mean, like, when you see those things, I mean, like, you don't understand because, yes, of course, they have, like, financial facilities, they get big contracts, fames and all that, but it doesn't matter because they have, like, tendency to have an insecure life and attitude. Sometimes they make mistakes because of whatever situation arise. You as well very accustomed to make like no sign of weaknesses. You're built as an athlete to actually show your strength, show your quality, even to your teammates. So you don't really talk to the guys and share your bad stories. So we have that tendency of like really like dying in, towards the career very quietly. So this is the issue that we want to address, and it is why the media press put a lot of like pressure into the players. They are required to be kind of role models. You don't have any excuses. It's like one mistake and your reputation is really on the threat. So that's basically the actual overall threat that athletes get sometimes. So the lucky ones, Cristiano Ronaldo, even got sometimes issue. It happens to everybody because the world is very complex.
So we've built this platform to be win-win, so it's for both stars and partners. So partners are any kind of suppliers that we have in the platform. We call them partners because we want to work with them and make sure we find the best solutions for them. If we look at their situation, firstly, everybody knows in terms of trust of brands, it's much lower than it ever used to be. People are far more likely to trust peer reviews or influencer videos than they are to trust advertising, for example. And for that reason as well, the way that media is consumed now, the way that people have got ad blockers, all those kind of things are meaning that brands are having to look for different ways to be able to market their products to their audience. And the consumer journey has changed as well. It's not that linear consumer journey that is, you see the advert on TV, you go into the shop, you buy it. People are coming into the funnel at various different stages through various different channels, particularly digitally. If you try to work with influencers, particularly what we kind of refer to as man-made influencers, so people who have decided that that is what they want to do as a job and they've set up a YouTube channel and they're promoting peanut butter at lunchtime, a handbag at 4 o'clock, a holiday to Switzerland at 7 p.m. It's also quite hard to weed out who is a genuine influencer and who have got fake followers and all those kind of things. So it can be quite a minefield for brands. And finally, in terms of a lot of the sort of brands and service providers that want to target this audience of stars, it's quite hard to access that niche audience and to actually find where they are online. So you can't necessarily just do like a Facebook ad campaign or something, which would obviously beat the ad blockers, but wouldn't necessarily get to the stars that you were trying to target.
So that's why I think we build a very balanced platform. It's a win-win platform in a way that the partners have direct access to stars. The actual stars enter their interest, make the actual profile be visible to every partner. So that's where the stars will browse some really nice opportunities, like attractive ones, of course, because we want them to come regularly into the platform and will be mixed with other stuff that are more important.
Sorry, I was just taking a picture. I've never seen it look so big. So then we've got the sponsors section. So this is any kind of career development or revenue generating opportunity for stars. So within there, they can find like punditry opportunities if they're a footballer. They can find services that perhaps will support them in creating their social media strategy. We've got education providers in there, all kinds of support on performance, those kind of services, so that they can really develop their career. Because I think quite often, as Louis was saying, in terms of them being seen as a commodity, they're just being focused upon for whatever contract they're in, wherever they are, and nobody's thinking about what's going to happen when they retire at 33. So this way they can start to really build a portfolio. Even doing bits of TV or speaking while they're playing means that they can obviously then use that to get more work in the future.
And that's where I think it's very important, very sensitive. Why we build this is to make sure that they go into a very secure environment where when you can find agents, relevant agents who really have the interest of the players in mind. So it could be as well lawyers, wealth managers, all those kind of experts that can help you into that ecosystem. So we have like this in mind to make the created environment for those guys. We're talking about football today, but it's very broad.
And then what's really important is when partners apply to join, they obviously go through an application process, and we make sure that they are trusted service providers and should go into the platform. But from that point on, we really want it to be a community and make sure that the stars are evaluating partners that they transact with. So they can rate anyone that they do a transaction with. It would then start to show as a recommendation. Obviously I would get 100%, but we thought we'd make it look more realistic for this screenshot by putting 80. So people can rate after a transaction. They can also rate if they'd already been partnering with that particular organisation. So it's a great way to get validation within the platform.
And that's a very peer-to-peer element in a way that all the players can talk to each other. So that's why I was talking about mentoring as well. They can actually discuss about different topics, but they are not here to discuss about bikinis and holidays. Mostly it's going to be about like helping them to build their confidence, sharing the actual good stories, but the bad ones. So all this is very secure. Is end-to-end encryption, making sure that those guys feel secure. This platform is all about trust, all about the element that they are missing sometimes to build their confidence into maybe going to education. So those elements in messaging as well is you can actually be contacted by opportunities from partners. So the partners will be able to discuss. So the stars with the interest will click on the discuss button and enter a very secure conversation. So that's what we have built in a way to make sure that those guys get into that process of like getting in touch with the right people. So asking questions, it's always the way to educate.
And from a partner perspective as well, you can create group chats. So for example, some of the charities that are coming into the platform, and we let charities into it for free, using it to be able to create groups to then message all of their ambassadors. So whereas if normally they'd got a new campaign launching or a TV advert going and they wanted all their ambassadors to share it on their social media, they would normally have to message all of those people's agents. The agents would then have to remember to tell them to do it at that time, whereas this way they can just create a group chat. It's not the sort of thing like when you get added to a WhatsApp group and you're like, oh no, now everybody knows my number and I didn't choose to be added to that, because it's just your AxisStars profile.
So when you have passed the due diligence, you have your own profile as a company about your information. So you create your bio. The nice thing about it, yes, you can maybe be a company well known. Some of the players or some of the stars don't understand your actual field, so they have the information and they will actually see your overall opportunities to create like a kind of like virtual shop for the companies. So imagine a real estate, they could have like all their product inside, so which is like very informative. And at the same time, the actual stars can get a rating straight away into that profile. So we build that long-term relationship between those two entities. So this is very important in a way to build that trust element.
Yeah, and in terms of the trust as well, just putting the face behind every brand as well. So that's why the individual employees are all in their own profiles as well. So in terms of the way that this is fueled, when a partner joins the platform, they get access to a back office dedicated to them where they can create all of their opportunities. So they are the listings within the platform. They can also message through there as well as through the app, and they can track all of their transactions, because any instant purchases that happen through the platform, they then would get all the information in terms of fulfillment of that order in the back office. So hopefully you can see this a bit more on the screen, but in terms of the way that you can target, we're collecting various pieces of information when stars sign up. Some of them are publicly then visible on their profile page, so that's like their social media accounts and what they're interested in, what star type they are in terms of footballer, cricketer, etc. But then other bits are there purely to be able to fuel the targeting and make sure that any opportunities that they're seeing in their feed are relevant to them, whether that's based on their net worth, whether it's based on whether they've got a family or not, those kind of things. So initially, we've not been live very long. We've not put in all of the options in terms of targeting there, because we don't want people to sort of create this amazing segment, but then it would only have a few people in it. But you can target by things like gender, by age, by country, by the type of star you are. You can also target specific stars, so you might want to create an opportunity that is all worded directly to a particular star, and they would just see that in their feed. Interests, obviously, type of star, so we've got some partners who are perhaps lawyers, but they're slightly wording their opportunities differently depending on whether they're targeting a rugby player versus a footballer or a cricketer, etc. And then they can add images to it as well and publish the opportunity. A push notification goes out through the app, and that drives stars back in to see whatever it is that they've been targeted with. So we've been live in the App Store since July. We onboarded partners initially to make sure that there was a good selection of opportunities in the platform for when stars were coming in. They've been onboarding for the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and we're continuing to grow from this point on with it.
The very important details that we have to always remind people that are interested that this is a vehicle. This is a tool that partners are still in charge with all the services. They are in control. What we have done is like creating a vehicle, a faster vehicle to reach certain like market that may have like difficulties for language or whatever. We have like the duty to actually secure that market and making sure that the partners or whoever will be the one that is claiming to be. So that's the actual strength, is making sure that we're creating bridges, and the partners that are here that are willing to touch this audience or very niche audience can do the job the best way. So getting an example is like maybe the target agent may think, oh yes, this is disrupting things. What we think is like we are an extension of an agency. Like what they could have now is like a better way to reach a certain audience, but at the same time, like get a better, I would say, corporate service for their clients. Because yes, they have connection, they have understanding who to talk to. You speak to a billionaire, he will have the same problem, even if he has the money. So it's not about just like being not with the knowledge. It's about like just getting the right connection, and the word of mouth now has been digitalized.
I'm not sure if we're allowed to ask if anybody's got any questions, but has anybody got any questions? I will rove with a mic if anyone has. No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.